A personal favorite riff that I learned years ago is Drift Away by Waylon Jennings. It's just such a cool riff. It's got a very nice technique, a lot of chord application, a lot of relation to scales. We're going to deal with it through the study. And the introduction should sound something like this. Now you'll notice it's using a combination of my pick and my first fingers. It's a definitely a combination. It's called hybrid picking or chicken picking. And just to show you the technique we're going to use, I'm going to zoom in on my picking hand now. And you can see there, striking the third string with the pick, picking the second string with my middle finger. And it's a bit of a lapse. It's not in unison. You can hear that. The pick strikes before the finger. And that's what gives the song its awesome sound. Okay, now I'm going to focus in on your fretting hand so we can see the techniques a bit more up close and personal. It starts with a cool double stop. Basically the intro is largely strings 3 and 2, first finger flat in the second fret. Although if you really want to use fingers 1 and 2 like that, also you can go like this, or you can go like this. Sounds the same, so I'm not too fussy for that. Then you jump to the double 7. Again, fingers 1 and 2, or you can go flat finger. And I'm trying to find a continuity there. Should it be flat? Should it be fingers 1 and 2? And I've noticed that all the really good players and notes, there's sometimes a grey area where you can sort of select which technique you favour. So we're not too fussy for that. One more time through. It's going to go through from the double 2 to the 4 5 onto the double 7, and comes back. And then it has two little triplets. Now you have to have again your first finger flat on your second fret of your fourth string, and you do a little hammer on there. And you end up with a pick. So slow motion, picking the 2 on the fourth string, hammering on the fret 4 string 4 with the ring finger, and then releasing to the second fret on the third string. And then you that 0 double 2 would be basically picking again onto the chord shape. So if you want to play it through with me, just one time slow, you're welcome. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, and really nice intro, really worthwhile learning it. Now the chords are largely D, A, E, and B minor. For those of you that know the theory and know how to work at the key, those chords would be in the key of A, not D, because A would be the first chord, and then D and E would be fourth and fifth. And if you're doing music theory, this will make a lot more sense to you. Okay, but bottom line, we're in the key of A, even though it's starting on D. And the scale that we're going to use is going to be largely your minor pentatonic scale starting on F sharp. And this is actually on your PDF file at the bottom, which says 2 starting scales, and that's where you're working it from. So first of all, you got your pentatonic scale, you've got your diatonic scale next to it. You'll notice it had a similarity, but it had more notes. That's the diatonic scale. And you got your new chord shapes. There's my new D, there's my new A, there's my new B minor, and I've got a new E here. Let's go through those chords quick because they're quite important chords, and then we can take it further into the lesson after that. Okay, opening chord is D. Now, we're not going to do that. We're going to place your first finger flat across all 4 strings from the 4th string down in the 2nd fret. Middle finger, number 2 goes to the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and then the ring finger number 3 goes to string 4, fret 4. This is your new D, should sound like this. When I change to A, I'll simply release fingers 2 and 3. Notice finger 1 hasn't moved. This is my new A. But you'll notice I didn't play that bottom string because on your diagram you can see it's a red dot there. We don't play the bottom string for our new A. So there's your D, here's my new A. Later when they get to the E, the D and the E are sort of the same shape. So all that's really happening is you're just taking D 2 frets up, D, D sharp, E. Okay, so same shape. What's quite cool with this particular shape over here is that with your scale that you're busy learning, you can actually go from the D, check here. And it's a nice way to change, and all I'm doing there is actually just sliding from the A, for example. There's some hammer-ons, you can see the hammer-ons there. And then I'm sliding 2 frets up. It's a very nice technique to master to get into the slides. Get some nice smooth sort of blues country sort of vibes over there by getting to know your different new voicings. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to guide you through quickly the interconnectivity of the new PDF files that I'm busy putting together, which unfortunately I haven't mastered yet, but you can understand where it's going, so the video is going to help a lot. So you're getting 3 videos today. The one you're looking at, the link to the video of the original being sung, and then also the one to where I'm going to break down how the chords are found in the scales. Now just quickly, if you look at verse 1, it starts with a D. It's a very chord song, so it's nice, relaxed sort of chord strums, and the important part here is the chord shapes inside it. Again, there's my D, and what's quite cool, I can start the rhythm now with, and I went to put a little extra, I'll show you a little extra there, nice and easy, and that took me from my D into my A. So it's a very short little phrase which just helps me sort of join D and A together. I could have done D to A like this, and done that as well, which is just a hammer-on. So it doesn't have to be a complex phrase like that, but if you wanted to, again, know your scale. So one of my other favorites, if I want to get a bit more busy, is something like this: D to the A. And that little riff, because I know the guys like learning riffs, I'm going to try and break down for you. So I'm going to go D on to the A. Slow motion. Bit of a rake there. Onto the open second string. Pinky comes on fret 5. Pull off onto the second string. 4th fret of the 3rd string. And into the A chord, because the back part is my A. I can vary it like that. Put a little hammer on with a pull off and a bend. So these are nice little riffs that you can just quickly learn and pause and just rewind, and you'll be able to see them quite clearly. Nice little double stop. So they're not difficult phrases, something you should be able to pick up directly from there. All based from the minor pentatonic scale that's on your PDF, and a combination of the diatonic one, because the diatonic gives me all the notes in the scale. Like I said, the next video to follow this will give a more detailed breakdown on it. But look how nice the chords are now, from going from the, say for example, it goes D to the E, A, because these are all chord parts of the song. I'm not going to play the song per se. I'm going to teach you how to have exciting sort of developments and your own creativity inside the chords, because these are popular chords, and it's a lovely song to bring out your own creative sort of style of playing. So D to E. There's a little slide. See the slide there, and when I slide, I only start with those 2 fingers, because that gives me a nice double stop effect for the major chord. Nice little riffs. You can see the notes nice and clearly there. So I'm not going to write these down, otherwise you're going to have endless tabs. So the ones that you like, just pause, listen, watch it again. I'm keeping them nice and slow so you'll be able to do them. But the important thing over here, every chord I want, B minor. Everything that you're doing for the song is based around the scale shape. So what you want to learn from this, the goal of this, is first of all, learn a cool intro phrase. You've learned that. You're going to learn the new chord shapings. That was also again sort of a goal inside the study. And then you also want to look at and compare the different scale types, the pentatonic and the diatonic. And you want to see that these chord shapes are inside the scale shape. And I've had a bit of difficulty sometimes with one or two guys that aren't sure what I mean by that, because I don't explain always as well as I should, I guess. But the second video, we're going to focus in on the computer screen, and I'm going to take you through to show you the notes. But just quickly again, let's look at the diatonic scale, and you can hear it. And again, if you're not sure on how to play the scale, just drop me a WhatsApp and I'll send you a dedicated one. But the important part now is to see this. Allow me to a B minor chord there. Could have got a D chord there, A chord, all coming within that scale shape. So very important, what I'm trying to help us with over here is get to see your chord shapes inside your scale shapes. And I hope you got some of the little licks and some of the riffs in between that I showed you as well. If there's anything that you want to ask on, you do have my WhatsApp. But please, after you watch this one, watch the next YouTube video, because that's going to be focusing on how to see the chords in the scales. Okay, see you video 2 soon.